Shut up and sit down.
Sandbagger is an affront aimed at those riders who seemingly aren't partial to putting their nose in the wind and who will avoid a turn on the front at all costs. To this end, they'll employ a variety of underhand tactics to keep their slot at the back of the group, much to the annoyance of all around them.
You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life. The facts of life. There's a time you gotta go and show you grow, and now you know about the facts of life. The facts of life.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
And now, your illustrious Dialed podcast hosts, Matt Legrand, Evan Price, Lance Hepler, and Jake Von During. Please enjoy the show. You can thank us later.
Hi, and welcome back to the Dialed Podcast. I am Jake Von During, and today I'm here with Lance Hepler.
Puffy Pants Lance in the house.
Lance. I like how every week you just come up with a new nickname.
No, that was my wife's nickname for me.
Okay.
Instead of Lance Romance, she wanted me to be called Puffy Pants Lance.
I think we need to give all naming licensing rights to Brandy.
To Brandy.
I think so. When is Brandy,
She's a genius.
When is Brandy coming on the podcast?
We should bring her on. She would be
crush it.
hilarious.
She would crush it.
She would be
Yes.
hilarious.
Yes. All right. And we have Matt Legrand.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen of the interwebs, I am here this morning, and we have pastries. Thanks to Evan.
You're welcome.
Yes.
And back in the studio, Evan Price.
How's it going?
Yay,
I got
welcome
nothing
back.
interesting to say. No cool nicknames, no anything. God. You can't rhyme anything with Evan. Evan does not rhyme with anything well.
No.
It's like orange.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll come up with something.
Welcome back to the studio, Evan Orange Price.
There you go. Yeah. Maybe Brandy can help me out with that.
You could.
That works well with the team, though.
That does. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Very cool. There's the first one. It's out of the way. My goal, you guys, no more very cools.
No,
All right?
that's it.
All right, yeah, that's it for the rest of the
What-
podcast.
What
So-
about good stuffs? I need good
I
stuff.
still get one. I've got
okay,
one.
good.
I
You
get
got
one.
one.
I got one, and I'm not going to say it. So
Okay, good.
Hold on
It's
to
got to
that
be
one.
really good stuff for that.
What do they call those? Like crutch words or something? What's the term?
Filler.
Is that what they
Filler
call it?
words.
Filler words.
Filler
Like if
words.
you're into speeches and things like that, you have these like crutch words that you
Yeah.
try to work on not using or whatever.
You're
So-
trying to think of something else, and you don't want it to be silent, so you spit out a word. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, it could be worse. I'm not saying
Glorious.
That's
or
true.
or duh.
Like.
This is very.
And
again,
since we're all professional speakers,
Yeah.
Are we now? Are we
So
officially
much
professional?
well, no.
Lance is at least.
all right, off to topic number one, which isn't really a topic. It's just our weekly backpedal. Let's get our weekly backpedal kicked off. Who would like to start? Show of hands here. Evan, you weren't here last week, so you get to
I
start.
raised my hand last.
You have the most.
Even
you
though
have the
Matt
most.
beat you to the hand raising.
Well, so I know since I wasn't here last week, I'm sure Kim and Lance talked about our awesome ride on the south rim of Mount St. Helens.
That was
They did.
fantastic.
Oh my gosh, that was so nice. Also, I'm not sure if Lance told the story, but just so we all know how well Lance is riding right now,
Yeah.
me and Lance kind of went off at the end, and we were descending, which of course he dropped me on, and I tried to close him down on those flats. I was not able to close down Lance. It was pulling back microseconds at a time, but he kept the gap on me all the way into basically the parked car.
You're kind, because at the beginning
was
of the
pushing.
ride, he beat me up the first climb by like 10 minutes.
But
So
it doesn't matter where you started. It matters where
that's
you
because
finish.
You guys stopped and waited for me. So
Lance's
it matters.
descending is very, very solid. I got to see it in person. Very good descender. Yeah.
You
It
know,
was
you were on like Google looking up like 52 chain rings for that.
Yes,
Like, so you can keep up with the Alan.
55.
Or 55.
Well,
sorry,
that's-
55. Correct.
Wasn't Alan Plank riding
Yes.
the 55
he
that day?
was. He was riding the
Alan-
Lance is
55.
like, I will not be
This
dropped.
is a big shout out to Alan here. I have never been dropped that quickly on like he would come by me on those descents, and I was
Yes.
like, oh my gosh, I don't think I could be tucked as tight as possible. There's no way I'm going to catch him right now.
That was
He's
it
flying.
It was fun. It was great to ride with Evan too. It was just nice that we had 5
Yeah.
or 6 hours. We could just hang out
was
and
awesome.
talk.
Yeah.
And,
We were talking about that. We're like, we just need to do like a Lance and Evan podcast from Mount St. Helens.
Yeah, you guys could have recorded the drive up there. And
We
the
should
bike,
have.
and
We
it
should.
It would have been. We just slap it in there with the rest of the podcast.
We
It
were
would've been great.
solving some cycling world issues there. It really was cool.
Well, you know what?
Yeah.
Let's do this. This is a new assignment. You guys, when you're out this next week, I
Yeah.
want you guys to do some interview stuff. Just get your phone out and get the little tape recorder
that's
thing
not a
on
bad
there.
idea.
Have some conversations. We'll
Yeah.
plug it in. It should be fun.
that would be cool.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So then this last weekend I rode 5 or 6 hours with Derek, who dragged my sorry dehydrated butt along the end of that ride. I'm sure if he would have taken his phone out, there would have been some really funny bits about what I was saying on a couple of those last climbs. As I had him keep on updating me with the temperature like every 10 minutes.
man.
I was like, Derek, how hot is it right now? How hot is it? Is it 100 yet? Can I have the excuse that this was 100,
It's
right?
100.
Was this yesterday?
Yeah, this was
And
yesterday.
then you guys did like a pretty long hundo.
Yeah. Well, no, we were just a little bit under 100.
It was so hot yesterday.
Yeah. I had to run after. I was like, do I want to go the extra to get to the Century, or do I want to not die? So I chose not die. But yeah.
Interesting choice. Yep.
Yep. And last little bit from me. My last 3 swims have been after long runs. My calves are cramping so bad in the water, it's unbelievable.
Oh.
Yeah. I know some people who have this issue, and it's like I push off the wall every time I boom, just double calf cramp, doing pull sets the rest of the day.
Yeah, I know. I've been there.
So is that a dehydration issue, or is it a?
I think it's
not-
muscular fatigue.
neuromuscular
fatigue.
I think it's neuromuscular fatigue. I mean, the dehydration probably plays into it, but I'm drinking so much juice and water
So it's,
throughout the day.
Not likely that's what
Yeah,
it is.
it's just fatigue at the end of the days, I think. Yeah, I'll figure it out.
Bummer.
Yeah.
Do some plyos.
There you go. Yeah, seriously, I do need to.
Plyometrics.
Yep. All right,
Excellent.
that's all for me.
See,
Ooh,
you
I like that. I like that.
All right.
That run had a good ring to it.
Matt.
Yes.
How was your last week, bud?
Great. Fantastic. Let's see. There was a while. I've got on I told you guys this before on the last podcast probably, but I've been on the trainer a little bit and just like doing some trying to just do like every day of the tour, watch it on the trainer in the morning, which has been really fun. I really enjoy it. And then the day before last, I was like, oh well, I should go outside and bike because the weather is
super nice.
The weather's glorious, and so I went over. I texted my buddy Bob Croucher, who I think all of you guys know on the actual podcast, but he's a local guy and he's just an amazingly nice person.
Yes.
And he was like, yeah, we got a group going at 7:30, and I show up, no one's there, and so he and I just go just by ourselves, which actually I think was probably better because he and I we could hammer each other a little bit, and we're probably similar, level, to where we are. As where some of the rest of that group is maybe a little, just kind of a little more chill. And so we had a great ride. We went up to Crown Point, which you guys, I think you talked about that on the
picture from
podcast.
that, yeah.
And it was great because I hadn't been out and up there like this whole season, and it's one of my favorite rides, and it's just always beautiful.
It's too nice.
It's always beautiful. So it was great, and
I love the structure of that little building too. Just like whatever you call that structure, like who could describe that well for listeners?
What's even better, have you gone inside?
Yeah.
And,
it's
like
so
downstairs
cool.
and the whole. I mean, there's a very cool museum down there with all kinds of stuff,
awesome.
a coffee shop, and it's really neat.
Yeah.
it's really nice. And so if you guys are ever visiting the Pacific Northwest, it's definitely worth parking kind of somewhere in Portland and riding basically east into the gorge on the Oregon side of the river. And it's just absolutely beautiful. So it's definitely one of those bucket list rides. And we get to do it kind of whenever we want to. I rode by Lance's house and, just threw some trash in his
Perfect.
Towards
you
your
go.
house. But,
You can follow the dog.
I was thinking to myself, I was like, he's probably out biking right now.
He didn't even care. He didn't even care about that trash. That's how happy he was.
That's not what you were up to, were you? Were you out of town?
I was in Idaho last week. Yes, I went to Sun Valley, Idaho for the week just to
Like you do.
just because
Where in the world is Lance?
He's
Romance?
flaunting it to us right now. He's wearing an awesome T-shirt too.
Oh, I'm wearing this great Sun Valley mountain biking T-shirt. I rode quite a bit this week, but it was all gravel and mountain. I didn't get on my road bike once the whole week. So
Did you make it to 300 again?
No, it was like 175.
Did that
or
eat at
something
you a
like
little
that.
bit?
It did. It ate at me.
You're like, look at these miles.
Dang it, these miles are pathetic.
He all of a sudden switches over to hours.
Yeah.
That's right.
He takes the miles on his job. Kilometers.
But it was I went there. I'm fortunate. I'm lucky. My parents bought a house in Sun Valley, Idaho
cool.
in 1974. So way before it was really that big. And so now all my brothers and sisters and our kids, we all kind of share it. Well, I have 5 sisters and a younger brother, and so there's a whole bunch of us. And so you kind of have to take your weeks when you can get them. And last week was open. So I said, okay, I'm going. And I just me and the wife and the dog, and
Wow.
we had a great time. It was just
Now, did you do some hiking as well as biking? I'm sure you brought bikes. How many bikes did you bring?
I took 3 bikes.
3 bikes, okay.
I took and my wife's bike, so we took 4 bikes.
Mountain, gravel, and road?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
At Mountain Gravel Road and my wife's
no
road
TT
bike.
bike. You didn't bring
I
the
didn't
TT
bring
bike.
it, no. So, but I didn't even get on the road bike because we got out there and we did some hikes they were 7 or 8 mile hikes. Yeah. It was like 3.5 miles into a beautiful mountain lake. And then we'd hike back out to the trailhead. My wife is so awesome. I'm super lucky to have Brandy.
She was like moto pacing you, wasn't she?
Well, hey, honey, we're going to go for a hike today. It's an hour drive out there. Is it cool if I put the gravel bike in the back of the truck and then when we're done with the hike at the trailhead, I ride from the trailhead back to the house and you drive and I'll just meet you? Of course, I'll do. She's
for all young men like myself out there, you just need to find somebody who will drive a car next to you riding a bike and then marry that person.
There's not that many women out there like that. I think I lucked out when I found Brandy. That's for sure. Man. So
you got some awesome weather too. Everybody should follow your Instagram because those pictures are crazy.
It's
They're so good.
at Dr. Hep, right?
At Dr. Hep.
Okay.
Yeah.
HEPP.
It's definitely it's one of my favorite Instagram accounts, which I've said before, and I mean it. And
We'll snag some of those pictures and we'll put them up on our Instagram and share it on the Facebook.
It's all good.
I'm always like, I'm gonna get the best picture of the week from the Dial group this time, and then I'm like, dang it,
It still lands.
dang it, Lance,
It still lands.
damn you, Lance. And now I'm just giving up. I'm like, and I posted a picture of the Crown Point ride because you're up on this, you're up on this absolutely fantastic view looking down on the gorge. And I'm like, just take a photo, and it's not going to be as good as Lance's. Like, I know my role. It's like, I'll be in the top 5.
We should take a weekend this fall and just make the one goal. So we have to get one picture better than Lance's pictures that day. Like, that's it. Just
the challenge is on. Let's do it.
We should
It's
have
on.
a picture challenge. People have
something.
to vote on it then.
Yeah. I'm going to bring a professional photographer with me and be like,
pretend like I took it.
Yeah, like, all right, just hand over that little SD card and here we go.
Here we go. Yeah, so I had a great time. It was nice. We drove back last night because we're headed off again this week to my daughter's orientation at Washington State University, where she's going to be going in the fall, and so we're trying to. So
how many days are you going to spend up there in Seattle?
We're going to Washington
Pullman.
State. It's in
Oh,
Pullman.
okay.
Pullman,
Sorry.
yeah.
We're just going for 3 days, like 2.5 days or something. Not very much.
Okay.
So enough for me to make it back for the short track race and for the podcast.
Yes. Well timed.
Yeah, I didn't actually need to come back last night, but I came back so I could be here with
Look
you
at
fine
that.
gentlemen.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay, so
Dedication right there.
I do appreciate it because I do feel like the podcast with the 4 of us is like so much fun.
It is.
It is.
It really
super
is.
fun.
It is fun.
That is quite exquisite.
Check number 2. There you go.
I was also fortunate last week. We short track again.
Yeah,
We
how'd it go?
actually, that's something that Jake can talk about.
It's right there on my list.
Oh,
Go
yeah.
ahead.
Jake's got it.
So I won't spill. It was great to have Jake. Jake actually came and watched the race
that's
and
awesome.
took a bunch of pictures and
Yeah, I made it out to short track number 5. I got to watch everybody race, and it was kind of a fun night too because they do a theme night for just one of the races. They'll do a theme night, and it was business casual.
Oh, that's
But
awesome.
that's-
summer casual.
Summer casual.
Summer
sorry,
casual.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But that's just code for whatever the
Where.
heck you
Something
want.
funny.
There's some funny stuff out there.
What is is summer casual like a Hawaiian shirt? Like, what is that?
Lance, why don't you tell us what you wore?
Please, Lance, tell me what summer casual is.
You'll have to put a picture up.
Put a picture up.
So I told my wife, I'm like, Brandy, okay, tonight's summer casual. I can't wear my kit, so I need something to wear. And she's like, so she just opened up her drawer and pulled out these terrible, actually floral Hawaiian print shorts,
like a dolphin short,
Oh my
like
gosh,
a dolphin
yes.
short.
That's like
They were
roughly
way
what I'm
too short.
picturing. That's what I'm picturing.
I'm just thankful that we didn't see more of Lance than we needed to. Let's just put it that way.
So all you saw was like tan lines where my cycling shorts, because they were seriously 6 inches. I think they were my daughter's shorts, actually. That's even funnier, that I could squeeze my fat butt into my daughter's
Could you imagine
shorts.
how good your legs would have looked if they were shaven?
Oh, yeah.
Can we go back to the shave thing? They would look so much better if his legs were shaved.
Don't worry, that's going to come up in the podcast at some point.
Okay, good.
So,
Yes.
I feel like a mullet wig or something like
Oh my
that.
gosh.
Like would just be like the add the
80s summer
cherry to the
casual.
top
Yeah.
of the.
So I wore those terrible shorts, and then I wore my wife pulled out a pink frilly tank top.
Oh my
That
gosh.
has-
Nice.
that has-
Kind of like wife beater-esque.
It
you know
was
what I mean?
wife beater, and it was too small for me, and all you can see were my tan lines, because I have a horrible farmer's tan.
Oh, that's solid.
I have a very solid farmer's tan. So-
That's better than mine, actually, I think.
and I smiled and laughed the whole friggin' race, because it was just so hilarious that I was out there in this wife beater pink tank top and these terrible shorts.
And you took down second?
And I took second,
Yeah.
wearing fancy dress.
Yes.
I went in fancy dress, and I took second.
Where does that? How's that do on the? What's the point system set up? I don't know how that's going.
Yeah,
'Cause you get the points for the series, right?
yeah, we're
Correct.
still getting points for the series, and I think I'm in.
You're doing okay.
Yeah, I'm in second overall for the series. Chris Weirman took over first position because he beat me again.
Dang it, Chris.
Which was great. And again, it was almost similar to the week before. I'm leading for 4 laps, and Chris catches me on the 5th lap.
He's playing games
Smart
with you.
racer.
Yeah,
Smart
okay.
racer.
Yeah.
I think Mike Hamness was out there too. He's doing pretty well, but he had a mechanical, like a
He
chain
dropped
drop.
his chain.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, me and Mike got out, and we were pulling away, and he dropped his chain, and then I got way out ahead of everybody, and then Chris caught me.
Yeah.
And then which bike did you ride? Which
Mountain bike.
okay.
Yeah.
I wonder what his training looks like to be able to put like that kind of effort in towards the end of a really hard ride.
I don't know.
a good question to
I
ask
go
him.
so hard at the beginning because I've
yeah.
been dropped so many times in the beginning where you can't get around people.
Yeah.
That I've just gone hard at the beginning these last 2 weeks, and then Chris catches me.
I bet you $1 if you tapered just a little bit from these big volume weeks that you've been doing.
Oh, he would be
And then
killing
went
it.
into the race,
Yeah.
like race prepped, ready to go.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to watch you and Chris duke it out.
It would be fun.
I mean, you went into Monday's race with 350 miles on your legs in like the previous 6 or 7 days. So
Yes.
you're going to carry a little fatigue into
He
that.
had like
so.
a month worth of 300 plus rides.
Yeah.
And that's
So-
including a lot of gravel riding too. Like,
Well,
that's
I'm,
the thing.
I'm
is
trying
that's-
to prep for this September race. That's kind of the
Yeah.
race I'm prepping for, and the short track is kind of for fun.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
It's good intensity training.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I listened back to like one of our podcasts, and it was not that far back. It was, I don't know, maybe like 6 weeks ago or 5 weeks ago or something like that. And like, Lance, you were like talking about your back and your foot and things like that. And then it was just like, you were like, I'd like to do well in short track and all this stuff. And I was like, man, look how like it
just
doesn't.
kinda
You
took
don't
off.
you don't realize it, but like Lance has gotten so much better and healthier, and just like it's fantastic to see like how well you're doing. So,
Hashtag Hepler focus.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
so whatever.
Best way to make your low back pain feel better. Just ride your bike a ton.
Just ride more than you should. So it's been fun. Anyway.
So tell me more about Jake for your back pedal. Like you made it out. You brought the new.
Basically, my wife was at home with the kids, and
Yeah.
teammate Jerry Pruitt came up and swooped me up and jumped in the car and showed up to short track early and watched everybody do their pre-ride and took a bunch of pictures and walked all over the course because I was given the AOK to start like being a little bit more mobile, and had a blast. It was fun.
That's
I got
awesome.
to watch the warm-up ride. I got to watch the kids race. I got to watch all 3 heats go out and do their thing, and was basically bouncing all over the course and taking pictures and trying to find stuff that looked fun, and watched the team just do awesome, and was
you take,
really wishing I was out there racing.
Did you take
with them.
100 photos?
I think it was more about 600.
Oh, wow.
This is where I feel like if Jake's not able to ride a bicycle, he has to like put that amount of skill and energy that he has on a bicycle into one thing.
Yeah.
So Jake has a new camera. We mentioned it on a previous podcast, but like new camera, and you're enjoying it.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've always been into photography, and I sold my old DSLR. Oh gosh, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and I've been wanting to get a new one for a while now. And I had my eyes on this, and I actually ordered it kind of when it first came out, and it was on back order, and it arrived the second day I was in the hospital. So I was sitting in the hospital, I was sitting in the front doorstep. So yeah, I've had a little bit of time to kind of dig into it, and been doing a little bit of research and playing with it and having fun. So that was a perfect excuse.
We'll have to post some photos so that we can refer back to those from the podcast.
Absolutely.
There's some terrible photos of me and my tan lines in my paint tank top.
I've already made a note to post it.
Good.
So, but yeah, that was fun, and it was not a very exciting week. Otherwise, I pretty much sat at home and did a little bit more atrophying and gain a little bit more body composition, and but I did watch every single stage of the tour from start to finish at its live broadcast time. So,
oh wow,
because I don't sleep anymore. I
basically a French person now. You're like on that sleep schedule, roughly,
exactly.
Right?
Went out and watched one of my daughter's soccer game, or actually a couple soccer games at a tournament that her team won over the weekend, which was pretty cool.
Oh, nice.
Followed everybody's photos and posts of them doing STP, which is the Seattle to Portland this past weekend, which was a lot of fun to watch.
It looked like the Dialed Cycling team had like a really nice group of, I'm guessing it was about 5 or so.
Yeah, I think it was about
6. And man, that they did great.
Yeah,
they did.
It's impressive.
It gave me the itch. Like last year was the first year. Oh, I did it 3 years ago, then 2 years ago, and then I took last year off because I'm like, I just wanted to stay at home and do family stuff, go camping and short track and all that stuff. And then thought about it a little bit this year, but again, too much going on with the team and with the short track stuff, and we had some camping stuff. But watching that, it really made me want to get out there and do it again. So I may, depending upon how everything shakes down next year, go out there and
put it on the list.
Yeah.
Put it on the list and go out there and do it. So if anybody's interested in going out there, Justin Wagner, if you're listening, let's talk.
Yeah.
We want to.
I bet he'd be up for that.
We want to break the 9.5 hour elapsed time, not the ride time, but the elapsed time.
Elapsed time.
Yeah, the ride time would probably be like 9.
Matt, you want to jump in there?
9:10. So we'll probably average about 22.5 miles an hour if we do it right.
Okay. So you want, this is a record of some sort that's for the...
Just a personal goal. I don't
know.
know.
It's a personal goal.
I don't know what the record is.
Okay.
The last time Justin and I did it together with a few other guys, we got started at 4:30 in the morning and tried to get out ahead of the all the Freds out there.
So I was there.
Yeah, you'd have to. Yeah.
And we kind of failed because we wanted to get you really want to start up front and basically get it away from the crowds because it's such a massive race.
Yeah.
And then, but we ended up being the second wave, if I remember
Something
correctly.
like that, yeah.
Which made it difficult because you're weaving through the entire first wave of people.
And just for people who don't know about this ride, it's there's 10,000 people that do this ride, and everybody gets started between 4:30 and 5 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
70% of those people will only do the first 100 miles the first day and the second 100 miles the second day, and then 30% of the people will do it all in one day. And that's the ride that we were doing. So we really wanted to boogie down and get out of the gates as soon as possible so that we can miss a lot of this traffic, because you get a lot of people out there that just kind of
they're cruising
at a lazy pace.
Well,
if you will. So
and I think that we did a good job of getting there early that morning to get ready, but we somehow missed that first wave. And I think maybe if we do it again, we should just absolutely make sure that we are right on the front line.
Yeah,
we should breakfast on the bike at that point.
They also say that they're not going to release people until 4:30 in the morning.
Right.
But when I was riding over there from the hotel, it was 4:15. But there was already people being let out onto the course, so that was kind of a little bit of a bummer. But it still wasn't too bad. But there was a lot of people out there. But we want to get out there, I think, and try this again and really time trial it in a one day, 206 miles, and see how quickly we can get it done. I don't know what the record is.
Well,
we can look that up.
It was interesting. I saw the numbers that it was because we were 206, I think, but it looked like they had 200 flat for their.
Well,
numbers.
you know what? I saw other people that had 205 and 206 miles, so I'm not quite sure. Maybe they had a little diversion in there,
detours and stuff that you're not supposed to. I know I missed a turn.
Robbie, I think on purpose stopped right at 200. I think was his goal. I know that's at least from what he was telling me. So I assume that everybody he was with just decided to stop right there.
It's pretty amazing. Yeah.
Did they not roll into the finish line? The finishing area?
I don't know.
I'll have to ask them.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, we'll ask him
That'd be
about that.
somebody else we could have on the podcast. Absolutely, Robbie.
Yeah, he would love. That would be great. We
Robbie
should have him.
Halterman, owner of Movement Revolutions Gym, a local gym
Yes.
here in Vancouver area.
Yeah.
And he's a triathlete.
He is.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah,
could the
super cool.
triathletes could dominate the discussion at that point.
Yes,
That'd be important.
Oh, we'd have the numbers.
afraid.
We need an extra one.
I'll be here for you, Jay.
Okay, we'll have to have Tim come back in and help us out here.
Yeah, Lance jumps on both sides of the fence here,
That's
though.
true. Yeah. He has a history.
Since
I
I've known
kinda
Lance,
do,
I
but
haven't
Lance
known any
more.
triathlons.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
Lance has like a dark history. He
does.
Triathlon.
Try to keep it quiet.
We don't want to talk.
not
We won't
glorious.
talk. We won't talk about that.
and we also had a teammate, Scott Westphal, who was down in Tahoe area, Lake Tahoe area, doing the death ride, which was, if I'm not mistaken, my
that
memory
sounds
serves
fun.
me correct, it was about 125 miles.
Yeah. Oh my
and
God.
15,000 feet of
Yeah.
climbing.
Oh, wow.
So
5 mountain passes.
yeah,
That's a tougher ride than STP.
Yeah.
That is definitely a tough. I mean,
So-
if you're that 15,000 feet is a lot of feet.
And
Yeah.
it was hot too.
Oh,
so
boy.
that's the thing that
Good for him.
you don't want to
kudos,
have.
kudos.
You don't want to have a ride called Death Ride and have it be excruciatingly hot and then like
2,000 feet elevation.
I feel like that's a.
he's a
bad luck.
beast on the bike, though. He has
yeah.
been training his butt off. I mean, I've been keeping tabs on what he's been doing, and it's just like knocking out massive ride after massive
really?
ride with massive amounts of climbing in there too. I mean, he'll go out for
loves
like
to climb.
a 50-mile ride, but you'll knock out like 10,000 feet of climbing, and he's just been doing that consistently for the last quite a few months. And he went down there and did really well. So proud of him. Good job, Scott.
Yeah.
And Mark and Kevin, who was with him. So
Yeah.
We're all with him. Yeah.
So yeah, not too much more to my my backpedal than that, other than just living vicariously through all you guys and the rest of the team.
Hey, that's okay.
But I am headed off to the dock today for another update on the shoulder. So hopefully I shall come back bearing good news next week. So
Fingers crossed.
yes. Okay, now let's get into topic number 1. We are going to run through some. Well, basically, it's just a top 10 list, and it's basically top 10 tips to avoid looking like a cycling rookie. My question is, as we run through these things, is do we agree, and do we have anything to add to this list? So let's kick this thing off. It could be kind of fun, and I do want to just preface this with, do any of these, if we disagree with them or agree with them or want to impose any of these, does this make us a-holes?
Yeah, exactly.
Does this make us the cycling
always about-
elitists? So
What other sport outside of like cycling, I guess maybe triathlon, cares as much about not looking like a rookie as the like they care? Cyclists care so much about not appearing to be a Fred.
Yeah.
We should define what a Fred is too
Yeah.
before starting
Go
this.
ahead.
But okay, so a Fred. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. A Fred is basically somebody who, let's say you're going on a group ride with some people who would consider themselves followers of the Velamani, which is, we've talked on a podcast previously, is a bunch of rules that cyclists make on what to wear, how to behave, yada, yada, yada. And a Fred would be somebody who does not abide by those rules and is also, I think you need to be a slower rider to be considered a Fred, if we're going by the definition, I think.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. You could be faster and just look weird and be considered a Fred.
I had this personal dilemma with this very topic yesterday because I had an acquaintance, a friend, who did the STP, who did the Seattle to Portland, and he is not a cyclist as far as I know, and he went out and rode the 200 miles in 2
Good
days.
for him.
Right?
Oh my God, good
so
for him.
super fantastic. But he's taking pictures of his bike and live Facebook videoing and you see the pictures of his bike and what he's wearing, and he's got a backpack on.
Yes.
And he was wearing, I should be careful. I don't know if he listens to this or not, but he had not like compression socks on, like all the way up to his knees.
Oh no, that's a big no-no.
Right. And I
Probably like basketball shorts or something.
right. And my thought was, what are you doing? Why are you wearing that? And immediately followed by, who cares?
Right.
Yeah.
That he's wearing that. He's out there on his bike and he's riding. He's doing this very difficult.
Was he not wearing a
200
chamois,
miles.
do you think?
No, he had on cycling shorts.
Oh,
Okay,
thank
that's
God.
good.
I was going to
Yes.
say,
Good.
that man deserves the toughest person alive award if he just rode 200 miles without
And then you
chamois.
wonder why people quit cycling.
Yeah.
You go ride 200 miles without wearing
Yeah.
cycling shorts. Your whole innards are just chewed up. You're never
my
going to get on
God.
a bike again.
Gonna put that away for a little while.
Yeah.
First ride, 200 miles. Hate this.
No, and I think probably people listening to this podcast and those of us on this podcast should probably take a serious look at like, hey, we're wearing spandex, and some of us are shaving our legs, and like we're doing stupid stuff, and then like so yeah, no, I'm
Pants, Lance.
I'm completely with Lance on this one, where it's like, nope, we're not in a position to pass judgment at all.
That's
you
correct.
know?
And now
So-
you guys know why I picked this, because it's such a double-edged
It
sword.
is. I
Really.
love it.
In the
I
back
love
of your
it.
head, you're like, look at that Fred. But you're like, wait a second, he's out riding his bike.
He actually
and
looks normal.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That's what people should look like on
Yeah,
bicycles.
and people should be making fun of us.
Exactly.
Whatever happened to like
yeah.
riding in? Do you guys remember the movie Breaking Away? Whatever happened to riding in like jeans, like jean shorts, like male jean shorts?
Okay, so
riding
let's
in
do
those.
this. Let's go
Yeah,
jean shorts
George.
and t-shirt, like
Yeah.
maybe tank top. I don't know, and then let's just rock it someday. And like I don't know.
So at the bike shop I used to work at. Me and the guys who worked there, we never did this, but I would love to do it with you guys here. We did a race once.
Oh, yeah.
Well, our plan was to do a triathlon in like Daisy Duke shorts and no shirt.
no.
Like that was our plan once, because we just kind of wanted to bust up the whole like you gotta look pro sort of thing.
Yeah.
And one of the guys at the shop probably still would have won the race by a significant amount.
Yeah.
He was that
Yeah.
fast, but
That could be a fun ride, like
I
the
think
race,
a Daisy Dukes ride.
not,
Yeah.
not pro
Oh my
race. You know?
gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can't do that. We're gonna destroy like the
Well,
traffic.
that was the thing Monday night.
People hate cyclists. Was that a topic on this?
Well, no. At the short track race, I'm in this
Oh.
stupid outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And somebody at the start line said, if you beat me in that stupid outfit, I'm going to be...
and you beat him.
And you beat him, because I know Chris would never say anything like that. That's awesome.
Of course. Of course.
Okay, so
Well,
let's look at tip number one.
let's
If you,
dive
if
in.
you don't want to be a cycling Fred or a rookie or what have you, no pro kits. So don't show up to the line wearing like
Yeah.
a professional team's kit.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that, guys?
I saw this on my Crown Point ride, like people kicking it in the Team Sky stuff, and
Yep.
I'm like, it's awesome, like it's fine, it's a kit, but the points that the author makes in this article is like, hey, those things are super expensive. If you're not paid to wear it, it's a little bit of a rookie move to do, and I kind of like. This is probably going to be the same point that I have with all of these. It's like I kind of agree with all these things, but I hate to be like.
So let's liken it to like you like the Dallas Cowboys and you're wearing a Dallas
Yeah,
Cowboy jersey.
sure.
Is there something wrong with that? No,
No.
no.
My wife would be like, "Why is that person wearing this?" And it's like, and I'm like, "No, that's a fashion thing. Like people, this is what they do.
Right.
They wear this. You wear the person that you pull for. You wear their jersey.
Yep.
Like that's just how things are currently with style.
Yeah.
But within cycling style, like wearing this team jersey thing, I feel like it's a little bit of a faux pas. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
When I see somebody in a pro kit, my thought is...
Come on.
How back can I drop this
Come
guy?
on,
Just
man.
scoffing, right?
Come on.
Okay,
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah. That's my gut reaction too.
But then I
Yep, you try to catch
I
yourself.
catch myself and go,
I am an asshole.
right. It's really not that big a deal.
no.
I
but-
like the rule that they mention. If a team has been disbanded for
Yeah.
10 years, then you can wear the
Then
kit.
it's-
I
then
like
it's
that.
cool.
Retro
I
cool,
like
yeah.
that.
Then
Yes,
it's
I think
retro.
retro's cool. If you're wearing like this year's Sky jersey,
Right.
like I mean, what? Come on. I don't know.
Yeah. No,
I mean, my opinion, I know it doesn't matter on this. Like, who cares? But like, come on.
Don't you feel like everyone makes the exact same joke, which is like, oh man, I can't believe Team Sky didn't pick him. It's like I know they were thinking about taking him on the tour, and they
My
chose Geraint
favorite-
Thomas instead, and they were thinking like maybe they should have brought this guy.
I used to
And
have a
then-
guy who made that joke all the time.
Every time,
It
right?
was like, oh, hey, I thought you were supposed to be in the tour this week.
Yeah.
Oh, they didn't take you? Oh, okay,
Oh,
good.
okay.
You should take the jersey off then.
Sorry about the selection process, buddy. Like as you pass them on the
Are you
hill
riding
or
the
whatever.
Vuelta instead of the tour?
Yeah.
Did they?
Training for the Vuelta?
So let's say in that same breath, though, that we're riding here locally, and there's maybe another local race team, bike team, what have you, and someone not on that team manages to get their hands on one of said jerseys and just wears it out because they think it's cool. Is that cool?
I don't.
Is
I
that
think
acceptable?
It's hard to know, right? Because how do you know?
You wouldn't know. I don't think you would know.
If you knew the team really well or something like that, then you'd be
Yeah.
like, that guy's not even on the team, and it would be.
On the other hand, though, they're still giving money to the team. 'Cause, I mean, if they're buying the kit, from the team, they're giving
In
money
some
to the
cases,
team.
yeah,
So, yeah.
maybe they picked up
That's
kit
true.
from somebody like on
That'd be
eBay or
different.
something like that.
That'd
So,
be different. Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
If you're buying it directly from the team, I think that's fine. If you're like buying a Castelli jersey and then printing that on there, then yeah, that's not okay.
It's a little insider baseball too, right? Where it's like, I don't know how you would know all this stuff unless you're really like in the team or
Yeah.
one of the other teams, and and then you're probably like, yeah, that's a little weird.
Yeah. Well, let's say that you were in, you went up to like Seattle and you're up
Yeah.
there riding around, and all of a sudden you see somebody wearing a dialed kit.
Yeah.
Like, somehow got in there. For a fact that they're not on the team. Would that bother you? Would you say something to that person?
I would yell at them and I would be like, "You're on our team." Like I would assume that they're on the team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if they were like, no, I'm not on the team, I just got this jersey, I'd be like, oh, okay. I probably wouldn't upset me or anything. Like I wouldn't even think twice. I would just be like, okay, well, cool. Well, I'm part of this team, and if you want, like, just be like, and now's your chance to hear me talk about the team for 30 minutes.
There you go. Yeah,
there we go.
Even though you don't,
up
you have no desire to hear about the team, but you're going to because I'm going to talk your ear off. So
Okay, so in summary, we'll say that is acceptable, but it's a bit of a faux pas, and just
Yeah.
be prepared to be judged by others who are a little bit more in that arena of a-holery. So.
Yeah.
You're leaving yourself open.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, tip number 2, buy the coolest helmet you can afford. Buy the coolest helmet.
So are they
you
saying
can
that
afford.
is a rookie move?
no, they're suggesting doing it, and I
Yeah.
think all the reasons
Okay.
that they gave were like, you're going to be wearing this a lot, blah
Yeah.
blah blah blah
They're
blah.
saying
Like
don't
everything,
skimp. Yeah, exactly.
everything seems fine with. I have no problems with that.
I have no problems with that.
I wore the same helmet for like 8 years.
Yeah,
Like, I
but
don't, yeah. I
if
mean,
it's- but the point is like get something comfortable, get something
Yeah.
decent. Like
Let's
your brain is
look at let's break
important.
the sentence down just a little bit though, and,
Yeah.
and look at the word coolest, and that can be kind
That's
of
true.
subjective. So
That's true,
what if
yeah.
somebody says that that Aero helmet that TT guy is wearing is very cool? I'm gonna go pick that up and I'm gonna rock that bad boy on my next group ride.
yeah, no, you don't.
And we're gonna
No.
go out and do some
I'm
hill
sorry.
climbing, and Fred rolls up and he's wearing his like long
God.
teardrop helmet
Oh, my
because it
God.
makes him fast on a group
Well,
ride.
I think that it all comes down to like that definition of like which helmet is cool, right?
Travis problem.
Because I don't know. I feel like all triathletes really do hate TT helmets. I think they do, right? Like
But they're cool.
I have
I only wear them in races and the day before a race, so I can get comfortable to the sensation for 30 minutes on the bike, and then I
sometimes
never
I'll like
touch it
try to
again.
like sneak out to somewhere where I don't think
Yep.
anyone's gonna see me, and
Never on a
I'll use the
group.
TT helmet,
Yep.
and I'm like, this is just to test the system
Yes.
or whatever.
Yeah.
But I really think they look horrible, and the one I have now is the worst because it has this big visor thing.
Yes.
And I put it, as soon as you get the helmet, you put it on, you go look in the mirror
You're like,
because it's a new helmet, and I'm just like, holy crap, I look like a stormtrooper.
Yeah.
It's not a good.
You never realize how ridiculous you look until somebody sends you like a post-race picture, and you're like, oh my god.
I do have a
looks so bad.
stormtrooper helmet. I'm gonna wear that on the next group.
Hey, short track tonight.
Brilliant. Should wear
You should go to a triathlon with that on just to make fun of us.
Instead of getting second in short track, you could win if you had the TT helmet on.
That's right. That's great. I would be
Yeah.
faster.
That keep the
Visor
shorts.
keeps all that dust out of your eyes.
Yeah, you're gonna want to keep using the shorts in the wife beater, but you're gonna want the TT helmet
Just
on.
don't tell Chris to wear one, or he'll beat you then if he has that same
You
aerodynamics.
will. Yeah.
Okay, so on this one, don't skimp. Buy a good helmet. It is important that you wear a good helmet. It's got a good MIP rating or what have you, because it could save your noggin. But buy the appropriate helmet. If you're going to road ride, buy a road helmet. If you're going to go do a TT, buy a TT helmet, and you can buy the coolest one you want. But just make it specific.
I mean, maybe just say like get a road helmet because that's like 99% of what people need, and then it's just like if you're in the market for a TT helmet, you probably know the rules or the faux pas or whatever it is, right? So
yeah. Okay, next one. Tip number 3: buy cycling clothes that fit. So
This goes without saying.
I don't know. This is hard. It's like they make cycling clothes tight, and all of us are pretty fit and trim and stuff like that. But like I wouldn't want to discourage anyone from like wearing something tight just because they're a bigger person. I'm just thinking. So this is way too personal, but like
comfortable.
I was a runner and I was super skinny, like very very real thin, and then I have gained significant amount of weight since I was not being you get older, you get the dad bod kick in or whatever, and like there's so many times where I'm like I don't want to take my shirt off and go swim in the pool because I just don't.
I've been there,
right? Where it's just like, and then you think to yourself, this is so stupid. And so for me, I'm always thinking to myself, like, hey, if there's a bigger person and they want to wear like the tight cycling clothes, like don't even let it be a thing. Like try really hard to encourage, not discourage, because I think back on myself about how stupid I feel, when it's summertime and I'm like, I really should be running without a shirt on. And like even on this yesterday, I went for a long run. I should have gone no shirt because it was like, what was it, like 95 degrees or something like that?
Yeah.
It was, and I was like, I'm gonna wear a shirt. I'm a little heavy right now, and I'll probably see all my high school runners and all this stuff, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna kick it with the shirt on.
Look, eight months ago, I was 230 pounds,
Right.
and my large jersey did not fit.
Yeah.
It was offensive when I put it on, and that I was
Yeah,
testing the limits of the stretchiness of stuff.
But here's the thing: is
Cycling
like,
clothes are good.
But there would be
motivation.
times where I got dressed to go out on a
Right.
group ride, and I put that jersey on, and I'm like, nope.
Yeah, but like
I can't go. I can't wear this. I gotta find a fat jersey in here. Where's my fat jersey?
Where's my fat jersey? but when it gets to the point where it's like deterring you from going out riding, or maybe deterring you from going for a swim, and that's where I feel like, this is unhealthy, right? It's like, this is actually, and then you think to yourself, like, screw that, like, that's not, like, I guess I'm just gonna have to like own up to being like a little bit pudgier than I'm comfortable with,
right?
And like, I still need to go out there and
it's
run with
really
the shirt
hard
on.
to step off that ledge and
it is.
push your own self-worth into a spot that allows you to do that.
Yeah,
that makes it difficult.
That's where, to me, I think there's a lot of, and us, everybody at this table, we've been lean through most of our racing careers, and it's easy for me to slip on my kit and go out and ride. To me, I think there's a lot of bravery in a guy who's going to be able to put that on and say, you know what, screw it, I'm going out on this group ride. I don't care what I look like. I'm going to do this each weekend for the next however long, and I'm going to be a cyclist. And I remember in Ohio we had a couple guys who were on our team who were bigger guys, and they were, 2 years later they were fit racing guys, but they went through that period where I know for them it was not comfortable to go out there.
All of us have been there. So,
yeah, and I think that's awesome. And I'm with you guys. Like, I think you just got to find a kit that feels comfortable. Yeah. It cannot be comfortable trying to squeeze into a large if you're not a large.
No,
but,
there's two sides to this equation, though. Let's say that the guy's a little bit bigger and he's large, but he's uncomfortable with his body, and he, instead of wearing a large, which would theoretically fit him, he goes out and wears the triple XL just because he wants it to be super loose and flappy, and it feels like it's
flap around.
Exactly. How do you feel about that?
I have no problem with that. I have one. I think I have one or two jerseys that are just like big, and when you like, I came from like running with like a super big cotton T-shirt, and like that's how I grew up running, and and so cycling was like this, like epiphany where it's like, oh, you need to wear tight stuff to go fast. Like that makes a difference in performance, and that's when I kind of switched over. In fact, I started wearing like tighter T-shirts, like my whole like viewpoint on like all changed. Yeah. And my wife can attest to this. She was like, yeah, I used to wear like baggy clothes all the time, and now I'll wear like,
a picture of that.
Yeah, no. There's a lot of those photos where, and I'm just like, back then I was rail thin and wearing like a large T-shirt. Now I'm significantly bigger, and I wear like a medium T-shirt. So it's like, and it all came back to cycling and stuff like that. But I think I'm totally cool with people wearing like larger jerseys and things like that. Yeah. But you're sacrificing performance. Yep.
Mm-hmm. On this one, for me personally, I could really care less. Yeah. I could not care less, rather. Wear whatever is comfortable for you, and just keep doing what you're doing. And as long as you're out there riding your bike and you're making gains, and you have a goal of what you want to accomplish, and if that goal is just to go out and have fun on your bike and you're comfortable in your clothes, great. Kudos to you. If you want to get faster over the course of time, lose a little bit of weight, and pony up and buy another kit that fits you when you get a little bit smaller, great. Just keep rolling. So
I agree.
Who cares?
Yeah. I did a video a couple weeks back, and it was like, how much does it cost you for, it was like this 8-mile ride that I did. And it was like, how much time does it cost you if you like put baggy shorts on and baggy T-shirt? And you are losing a lot of time. I think it was in 8 miles, I think I lost 72 seconds or something like that.
Significant.
And it was like, this is exact same position, exact same wattage, and you're just giving up time just to the wind or whatever it is, which is it was a kind of a fun, cool video. I kind of liked doing that one. But yeah, that was fun. I should go back and do something else where it's like comparing a little something a little bit more reasonable, like maybe like club shorts fit versus
that's
like
a good one right there. Yeah.
Jean shorts,
jean shorts, and pink tank top.
Pink tank top.
How much is that going to cost you? Yeah.
We'll
you actually got faster. Huh?
All right, number 4. They're basically calling Lance out on this. They're calling him a Fred. He's not shaving his legs. Shave the legs.
You're 1/10 of a Fred. Lance romance.
I refuse to shave my legs.
This should come up on every podcast for the rest of forever.
It will. Even if we don't want it to, it's coming up.
We should come up with something like, if we get this many likes on this, we will shave Lance's legs on a podcast.
I would do that.
I like that. Yeah.
10,000 likes.
Well, okay.
That's a challenge. That sounds like a challenge.
So I will say this: like in the article, it's like if you ride up on someone and they don't have shaved legs or whatever it is, like you kind of think like this person, it doesn't take biking as seriously as the other person or whatever it is, and I kind of agree. Like I kind of and it's funny because like if I rolled up on Lance at any point in time, he could just drop me like a bad habit. And so I kind of love that, right? Where it's like, yeah, maybe the shaving part, he doesn't fit into the mold or whatever it is, but damn, he can move.
The Brownlees do not shave their legs. Yeah. Now I know if we're going triathlon
I bet
here.
they do when it's race time.
They don't. They don't.
At
I've
the
heard
Olympics.
this. I do not know them personally, but
They're my heroes.
I've heard they do not
There's
shave their
no
legs.
way when they're like swimming that much in racing.
I'm going
at
to
the
fact
Olympic
check
level.
myself on this. I'm pretty sure they do not.
Errors and omissions. We're gonna say like I now with all the new information out, like how much wattage it saves you.
They
there's
should.
no way that they're gonna.
I don't know. Yeah.
I'm total hypocrite on what you just said for me, because I've rolled up to races at PIR where we're doing road races, and there will be guys I won't get close to in a group pack because their legs aren't shaved.
You're like, oh, he's probably squirrely, right, on the road.
Yeah,
like,
he doesn't have much experience or whatnot because his legs aren't shaved, and there I am, full fuzzy.
But it's just that the perception, and that's kind of hard to fight, I think. Whether it's like this person's got like a baggy kit thing on or whatever, they might not be. You kind of just immediately are thinking like, well, because we're all thinking about our safety, right? Like if we can try to pick out someone that's maybe not going to be as experienced, we know to avoid that person because there's a good chance that person's going to go down in front of you or whatever it is. And so we're all thinking like for our safety. So that I feel like is a little bit okay. Not that it's okay to judge people on whether they shave their legs or what outfit they wear or whatever it is, but we're all trying to be safe in any way possible.
So then going back to the purpose of the article, should a rookie actually shave their legs then? Because if it's supposed to be a warning sign, should there be like a certain amount of races? And now it's like, now you may shave your legs. So it's like your Cat 4 upgrade, here you go. Here's a razor, go shave your legs.
Brought to you by Gillette.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I would say like it would come naturally. Whereas like some people are going to be like, yeah, I'm all for it, and other people are going to be like Lance, like complete holdouts, like never going to do it.
I can't. So. I now I've made it a thing on this podcast. I can't.
We're going to come up with a way. It's going to happen, Lance. It will happen eventually.
This is Lance's identity now. He cannot shave his legs.
We will tie it to something fun and some sort of charitable cause, and we will have Matt videotape shaving his legs.
Shaving
slow-mo.
A new Fast Friday video.
Yeah.
Free Fast Friday.
We should do that's a good idea. I've been always trying to think like, because I do these videos on my YouTube channel about like Free Speed Friday, where it's like things that you can do that are kind of not necessarily like free, like whatever it is. Like I would say like if you're not simple things you can do that's free speed and kind of like, okay, you get your wetsuit fit correctly, you're going to save time. You wear a wetsuit, that's going to save you time. Stuff like that. Like even like elastic lacing on your shoes in a triathlon saves you time. It's not really like it's really free because you're paying a little bit of money for elastic laces. But anyway, that's the idea with the segment. But like shaving legs would be a great one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Lance, when you're ready.
Right.
When you're ready. When you're ready, I'm ready.
Okay, let's move on. Tip number 5, avoid rookie marks. And for those of you who don't know what the rookie marks are, those are the greasy chain marks on your inner calf muscle next to the chain ring.
Yeah, I get these all the time.
Yeah.
Well, going into a decade of riding, I still do this.
Oh yeah, we'd all have it.
We all have it. And you know what? I'm not gonna lie. If I have it, I look down like, oh damn, I spit on my leg. I'm like rubbing it out real quick on the calf. I'm like, please, hopefully nobody saw that.
Yeah, I don't worry about it too much. We call them like Cat 5 tattoos.
Yes.
Cat 6 marks.
Cat
6 marks.
Because it's pre-Cat 5.
Yes.
Cat 5. Cat 5 tat. Yeah, I feel like
I just need to clean my bike more.
Yeah,
I think that's all
exactly.
that tells me. Yeah.
So that's a funny one.
It probably happens to you less and less if you keep your bike clean and you ride more and things like that.
It still happens.
It still happens.
Yeah.
You just get
whatever.
You lean up against
but
it.
if it's a perpetual thing,
happens.
that's when I'm going to start snickering at you, maybe poking a little bit of fun. But if it was
like,
who cares?
Yeah, if it was like my older brother, I would totally make fun of him for it. Right? Like there's a lot of these things where it's like, no, I wouldn't make fun of a cyclist for this. But if it was my brother,
absolutely,
I would definitely make fun of him for it. So,
or anybody at this table, I would make fun of you for
it
instantly.
Sure.
Okay, tip number 6. Pick the right accessories. So basically they're saying some accessories make a cyclist look cool, while others make them look like a tool.
I didn't like this one at all.
I don't like this one either. I don't like this.
So a lot of the examples that they referenced were like mirrors and stuff coming off the, people put mirrors on their glasses that come off to the side a little bit, or
off their helmet,
or then the bottom
ends.
of the bar ends of So I've seen those, and I had to just think like, if people, I mean, I'm just like safety Dan, like whatever, like whatever you can do for safety is like, I'm all for it. So I think mirrors are good.
The mirrors. So when I was younger, used to always say like, oh, those are so ridiculous. Come on, just turn and look. when I became a PT, found out a lot of people wanted to stay cycling into their 60s and 70s. They don't have that good cervical rotation there to check their blind spots. So absolutely, I mean, if you're that guy who cannot get comfortably in that position to look, use a mirror. Of course, use a mirror. It makes sense. Yeah. Now, if you're 24 and you're I'd be cut. Like,
and also I think it's like I also think if you're racing and stuff like that, like
you gotta take the mirror off if you're racing.
Streamline it.
Yeah, or if you're doing like a group ride that it's gonna get hot, it's like I mean like fast.
I'm also definitely not holding your wheel if you are in a race with a review mirror.
Yeah, that's one of those signs, right?
Yeah.
Where we're
yeah.
like, be careful.
And that's purely a
this guy.
safety on my part. That would just be a lookout for him.
I don't think somebody would show up in a road race with a mirre.
I've actually seen it.
Errors and omissions. We're going to be talking.
Somebody find a picture of that.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Okay, then another thing that they reference here is a saddlebag that's big enough to fit your saddle in it.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah, I sometimes think,
that's what the jersey pockets
and
are
the bag's like swinging back and forth, and it's real huge, and I'm like, well,
just put it in the jersey pocket.
Yeah.
What about somebody still riding with cycling computers that have wires going to all parts of the bike for like your speed and cadence sensors? And
I think that's fine because I had that for years, so nobody better make fun of this one. Nobody. But I had the old version Cat Eye for a long time.
So I just think bikes that are like the wires and cabling and things like that are clean, I just think they look beautiful, right? When there's just like almost no like wiring or cabling or anything like that, I'm like, oh, that's pretty tight up there. Like, so it's an admiration thing. Yeah. It's when I see cabling coming off the brakes and things like that, it doesn't like I don't get too annoyed with it. I'm just thinking like this bike is prettier than this bike because of cabling and just having that stuff. Like so the wiring is probably same thing. You see the standard Cat Eye stuff with the wires like wrapped around the cabling and stuff too.
Once it died on me, I just didn't. I raced without a bike computer for like 2 years. So like I just did no bike computer, no watch, and bike races.
Was it still on your bike though, just dead?
No, okay. I had nothing on there. I said no bike computer or watch. And I remember during a race once, it was a Cat 3 race, and this like 17 or 18-year-old kid pulled up next to me. I was like, I think I've told this story. I was 24, and he looks at me, he's like, man, I wish I could just like enjoy cycling like that when I'm your age. It's like, all right, kid.
It's okay, little boy.
Cycling's kind of a funny sport though, because
that steel?
When people first get into cycling and they just don't know any better, the industry loves to sell you accessories, and there is an accessory for just about everything. And it's like rolling into Pet Boys for your car, to go buy stuff. You get Mini Mo and Jack there, and you can buy anything for your car, and you can all these little doohickeys and decals and stickers and all kinds of stuff. Same thing in the cycling world. They'll sell you anything to strap to your bike, to your saddle, to your helmet, and you can walk out of there spending a bunch of money, and you're like, cool, I got all this stuff, and then you show up to a group ride, and everybody's snickering at you, and you're like, wait, what?
I'll say this, like, phones these days are fantastic. I had all these theories that like bike computers were going to go the way of the dinosaurs because with a decent smartphone there's so much information that you can have. The stuff that I want to know is, like when I first started riding was like, well, how far did I go, and stuff like that. And that's just a phone or whatever. And so I really think you can go a long way without getting bike computers and things like that. You can get pretty far.
I remember having my first Garmin Edge unit. I think it was the old 305, and I had that predated the iPhone, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
So, and I was the same way. I used to I wanted to know this information, this data, like how much elevation gain did I make, and how far did I go, and that was before hardly anybody was using that kind of stuff. So it's kind of neat. But they will definitely sell you something for everything. But you don't necessarily need all this stuff. So just kind of ask around, ask a friend, go to a club ride, go to a group ride, go to a team ride, and just say, hey, what do I really need? So
it's hard to go to it'd be hard to go to a new group ride because you're kind of like, I don't know, maybe it's the guy side of me where I'm just like, go in there and you're trying to be cool, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm not the Fred of the group or whatever it is, so you're immediately, you don't want to be like, hey, what bike computer should I get? Like what, you don't want to be asking questions that make you a noob.
But that's the great thing about Fred is that everybody had to be a Fred.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why we all like to make fun of Fred is because it was you at some point. It's that little insecure voice where you're like, I looked exactly like that guy for a while. So Fred, everybody was Fred at some point.
So let me ask you this question. Let's tangent for just one brief second. What was the most Fred thing that each one of you guys ever did?
Oh God,
I've got a good one for myself.
I've got a really embarrassing one.
Go ahead.
Oh my. Okay, so this was my first clipped-in road ride with a group. Went with my mom, who had been racing Ironmans at this point. My mom would have dropped my butt at this point, at the age of very old. And we're on this group ride, and we have to add a little bit to get back to the car. And I'm still, we're on the bike path. I'm still getting used to the feel of it. I'm young. I don't even remember how old I was young. And we're talking and riding, and I'm kind of looking over at her, and like I'm like trying to mess around with my cleat, just get the feel coming in and out. Clip out, kind of tilt to the side a little bit, crash smack into a tree, like right into a tree, just riding with my mom, just on the road bike that I still have to this day, by the way. I still have that road bike. It survived that and about 100 other falls.
That's awesome.
But yeah, that was my most Fred moment by far.
Yeah.
Nobody saw it, thank God.
I've said this on the podcast before, but riding in the aero bars in a group ride, definitely, and getting yelled at, like, get out of the bars. Like that's definitely my most Fred moment. And
Try Fred, yep.
Yeah, totally. It's
about you.
It is what it is.
I've always been cool.
Yeah, that's true. That's
oh
true.
wait, I can remember.
I can vouch
now
for that.
a week ago that he was on a group ride and his legs weren't shaved. That's right. Oh wait, that was also this week.
One of the worst things I remember doing in one of the first triathlons I did not know that drafting was illegal. It was against the rules. It was the first race I ever did. So here I am, 8 miles into the race, and I rolled up on someone. I'm like, man, this is easier right behind this guy. I'm just going to sit here for a minute.
Here.
And the guy turned around and was like, get off my wheel. I'm like, what? I really didn't know that you weren't supposed to draft.
We should remember that because, like, someone's, going to pull up on me at some point.
Hey,
They're going to be, like, giving them, like, the...
There are guys who have been racing for 10 years that still do that. So, yeah.
So I can remember when I was a kid, I used to ride my mountain bike all over town and whatnot. And somebody mentioned to me it'd be a lot easier if you went out and got some cycling shorts instead of riding around in your baggy shorts. And, 'cause it'll help pad things and be more comfortable and it's a little bit more aerodynamic. I'm like, okay, I went out and got the cycling shorts and put those on. And when I got back, I was pretty chafed. You want to guess why I was pretty chafed?
They were on backwards.
No.
You wore underwear underneath them.
Ding, 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 ding.
Did
not know better. And I was wearing the old boxer briefs underneath the cycling shorts. And
these didn't work.
You're not supposed to do that. So.
Well, I feel like a lot of people, like, it's not written down anywhere.
No,
and, like,
it's not.
This is kind of this is probably kind of pre-internet stuff. So it's like there's nowhere to learn that stuff.
Yeah. So just next time you ride by a cyclist, and, I don't know.
These cycling shorts suck.
Yeah.
This is no good.
Look at me, I'm not wearing any underwear.
Didn't help.
So, good stuff. There's my one good
There
stuff.
you go. That was good stuff. That was very good stuff. I like that.
Okay, moving on to tip number 7. Dump the reflectors and the plastic ring, which would be located behind your cassette.
Okay,
So-
I kind of agree with this one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I always feel like that. If you bought a new bike, if it comes with reflectors on I feel like that might be like a law in some places.
I'm guessing because every stupid new bike you buy has reflectors on it. Yeah.
And you want to pull those, and I can't imagine that they're performant. Like having those things on your wheels. I can't imagine that
Built $12,000 bikes
Yeah.
that come with the reflectors on them.
Yeah.
It's pretty glorious.
Yeah.
So
And
I'll stay firm on this
Yeah.
one. I'll make fun of you so hard if you show up with those. I'm sorry. I'm like 9 out of 10 of these. I'll be like, that's understandable.
Yes,
Don't make fun of that
you
guy.
don't-
Make fun of that
you
guy.
don't need those. They make these fascinating, neat little lights that flash
Right.
into
Yeah.
all the stuff that are very sleek, and they're going to be much more, I don't know.
And you can't see that from
helpful,
behind anyway. So like what?
Yeah.
Like what is the car supposed to see you from the side? Be like, oh, there he is.
I feel like it might be just a state law here in Washington, but I feel like there's a law that's like if you sell a bike, it has to come with this, like a new bike or whatever.
Probably.
So I think that's why they're there for the most part, and every one of us pulls it off the wheel immediately. So I think I might have caught my older brother like still having that on there, and I'm just like, because he wants to race triathlons and he wants to do better, so I just like go pick his bike apart, like, okay, do this, change this, because it's just free speed Friday, whatever it is. So it's like here,
That's
and
the
I feel like
freest speed right there.
he might have had reflectors on his wheels. I'd have to go back and think about it.
That is
but,
the most free speed
and I
you
was
can
just
get.
like, yep, you got it. But he's one of those people. Like, first of all, he doesn't listen to me at all because I'm his younger brother.
No way.
Second of all, he's brand new to the sport. He doesn't ride with anyone. He rides by himself. So where are you going to learn? Where do you learn any of this stuff?
Yeah.
Right. From
he
my
had
stupid brother Matt.
Well, he's not going to listen to me. He had a great idea of wearing his. He had like these like kind of floating jammer shorts things. I don't know what they call them.
Are those the wetsuit jammers?
Yeah.
I've seen.
His idea was like, I'm going to wear this on the bike.
No. Oh
That
God,
was
no.
his idea. Like,
Please, no.
He was like, this is gonna work, and
No,
I was
it's
just,
not.
and I was like, I don't think that's a good idea. Like, get like a try, and he was like, no, I'm gonna try it. And then I was like, okay, well, don't do it in the race. Just go try it. Go ride 30 miles with those on. And he did, and he was like, oh yeah, that's a bad idea.
Was he planning on running in those too then?
I think that was, I think he was maybe gonna take him off for the run or something like that. But it was the idea, like he absolutely loves those things. What are those pants? Lava pants. Is what I
Lava
think they're
pants,
called.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
he thinks they're the greatest thing ever because he sinks when he
Yeah.
swims, and it's just one of those things. Like, no, like that's.
put on a wetsuit,
I was like, well, yeah, you do wetsuit, and that'll put you up. But I'm also thinking like all your swims he does in those lava shorts, and I'm like,
Yeah.
this is a crutch. You need to,
is.
and I think he's finally starting to listen to me, but probably not. So
Yeah. Oof.
maybe he'll listen to the podcast and pick up a couple things.
There you go.
So we'll leave the reflector store kids' bikes. I'll
Yeah.
leave them on the kids' bikes, but I'll
Yeah,
definitely
sure.
take it off mine. And that plastic ring too, take that thing off. That thing's annoying. So,
Yeah.
just learn
Yeah.
how to adjust the limit screws on your rear derailleur and you'll be fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Next, tip number 8, practice with your clipless pedals.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I also feel like that's a rite of passage. Like,
Yeah, it is.
And it'll probably
It is.
happen to me sometime. like,
Everybody's got to
go
fall down.
down.
Just doing it first time you can do it.
Yeah, I
There you
remember
go.
my first time falling down on those
Yep.
stupid things. I just put them on a bike for the first time. I'm riding down in Encinitas, which is down in San Diego, down there right by the Pacific Coast Highway, busy street. Came up to a stoplight and went to go
Yep.
clip out. And I wasn't thinking about it until the last second. I stopped. I'm like, oh yeah, I got to clip out, and I couldn't get my foot out. And right there in the intersection, everybody's watching. This guy just goes, donk, falls over. I'm like, awesome.
The falls are so
But that's
awkward.
but that's the awesome thing about is like everybody has that rite of passage thing in cycling, and I
Yeah.
feel like falling with clipless pedals is like the one that if you
gonna
didn't do that,
happen.
like you're not even fun. Like that's you're
2 weeks ago on the ice cream ride, which is a
Did you
real
fall?
chill. It wasn't me,
Oh,
but
okay.
I fell.
but there's 30 people on the ride, and there's a few people that hadn't ridden all summer yet. And we rolled up to the first stop sign, and one of the ladies just fell right over, and she was totally embarrassed.
Right.
And the first thing I said was, "We've all been there.
Yep.
Every single one
We've
of us.
all done that. It's all
Yep.
good. Just stand back up and let's clip back in and let's keep going."
That's a great thing about cycling. If you don't laugh at yourself, this is a miserable sport if you don't laugh at yourself because you will constantly embarrass yourself.
I told this story a month ago. I was at PIR. I did the race. I took second in the race. I pulled into the pit area with the whole team. I took the corner too sharp and didn't pull my foot out and promptly fell over and scraped my elbow up right after I had taken second in this difficult race.
So the team just laugh at you.
Yeah, I just I'm an idiot. I'm gonna ride home now.
Joseph Humble Pie right there.
So yep, we'll just call that one rhetorical. That's gonna happen to everybody, and
Yeah.
it's gonna don't worry about it. No big deal.
But if the suggestion is to practice, then that's a good suggestion.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you just know full well that process is hard
Right.
and it's worth practicing.
And it still happens.
And
Yeah.
it's still, now that we say this, it's probably like tomorrow's bike ride, I'm going to go down. So, yeah.
All right. Tip number 9: unless you are riding with a mountain bike, no hydration system. So don't roll up with your Camelback on a group ride.
Yeah.
How do you
I
feel
haven't
about that?
seen a lot of that, and I'm sure it exists. It's
But here's the thing.
STP.
What if you're trying?
Yeah, STP, yeah.
So STP, if you're trying to save time and you know you're going to need a certain amount of hydration, you put 2 bottles in your back pocket. You got 2 in your cages. I mean,
There's a rest stop every 15 miles.
I know, but I'm not saying that I'm above.
No.
Why carry all that extra weight?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
so there's
I've got a really good one for trail running though, a Solomon
yeah.
one that's like really lightweight, like very good.
There's a famous triathlete who he's probably, if not the best triathlete in the world. He's one of the top 3 or 4. And it wasn't maybe last year, but maybe the year before that, he went to the Kona World Championships and tried to make his hydration system aerodynamic, and it was just super weird looking, and it didn't work at all, I don't think. But it was awkward.
Yeah. I could see it being okay if it was completely an unsupported ride. Like when you guys did Mount St. Helens and there was nothing there.
was
you guys
nothing.
all kind of bottled up and
was
just
okay.
Jersey
Yeah.
Pocket and all that
It
stuff.
was 5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you take extra bottles in your
Dude,
jersey?
I'm really good at being dehydrated.
Yeah, I didn't either. But I think me and Evan were the only two that didn't put an extra bottle in our jersey pocket.
I'm going to make a statement here too. I think triathletes are guys who have been doing triathlon for years are very
Yeah.
good at training dehydrated.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
realized cyclists are not good at training dehydrated.
Well, do you
Like
think it has
overall.
anything to do with the intensity levels? Cyclists will generally have quite a few more like digs in there that maybe.
But even when I was doing group rides with like nothing but road cyclists for years and years, I think it's the run after the bike causes your body to have to go through so many more heat adaptations than just being on the bike.
Yeah.
What about at short track when it's a 30-minute race and you've got a guy out there riding with a Camelback on? How do you feel about that?
That's
Get out of here.
total rookie move.
Yeah.
I don't even take a bottle on my bike.
I don't either.
No.
It's too
It's
short.
30 minutes. When are
Although
you going to have time to
tonight I
drink?
might.
You know what?
It's 97
there
degrees.
was one of our teammates, Whitney, made fun of me because I had I was lining up for Jack Frost, and he was like, "Hey, Legrand, what's with the water bottle, buddy? It's a 30-minute ride, or I don't remember how long that. It's super short, right? It's it was between my aero
On your
bars.
aero bars,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I was like, well, it's like
It's more aerodynamic.
turns out turns out that having a water bottle between your arms is more aerodynamic than not having one, which is a super weird, like subtle thing. But I was like, even if this water bottle is empty, it's actually faster to have it. And then I did for not training, I did pretty decently.
Is that
right?
UCI legal?
Yeah, I think so.
Is it?
I don't think that as far as I know.
I thought that would be considered a fairing and you'd have to take it out.
Oh, for between the arms, it would have to be down to bottle.
Maybe for time trial and not
That-
for
Well, I know
triathlons.
that Obra's not going to look into it, but I mean, I'm
Yeah,
just
I
saying,
saw a
like,
lot of bikes
if
that
it was a
weren't
USA
legal.
cycling
Suspend
sanctioned
Matt,
race,
suspend Matt.
yeah,
That's a
DQ
great
Matt.
Well, errors and omissions. I would love to know the answer to that.
That would be a
because-
good question because
I have
I do
not
not
heard
know
that.
that.
Yeah,
We'll have to find out.
I have not heard that.
Okay, so as for the Camelback
Pass.
yeah, unless you're on a mountain bike, right? And even then, I don't
Or
even
trail running.
really wear them. But anyhow, okay. Tip number 10: know the cycling etiquette. And I think we've gone through this one before to a certain degree. And I think that there is something there to that, in terms of knowing cycling etiquette. But there's definitely some stuff where you can get a little overzealous. And we'll run through some of the bullet points here if you guys have the desire to do so. Go ahead, Evan.
I've got a personal one on here.
Go ahead.
Okay, God, the pointing out the potholes and incongruencies in the road, you can overdo this one.
Yes.
And also they say don't bunny hop. I bunny hop 20 times every single ride I go on. I think it's good. Control the bike. Sometimes it's actually a safer option, in my opinion, too, than riding it out. I've been doing that for years and years, so I'm comfortable with it.
But if someone's pacing right off your wheel and then you bunny hop something,
Well, yeah,
and you're like,
yeah.
and you're not pointing it out because you're bunny hopping
Yeah.
it, so that could be a little sketch.
I make sure I do it in certain situations.
Yeah.
I'm not being dumb with it. Yeah, if you're in a pace line and somebody's around your wheel, don't bunny hop anything.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's also like kind of annoying to be sitting there pointing out everything. You should really just be focusing on like riding a straight, safe line and not running into every single pothole.
Yeah.
But
How about pointing out I can understand if it's raining, but pointing out like manhole covers when it's perfectly flat with the road and it's no different. It's just manhole. I mean, do you guys point those out?
I don't.
I probably point out more stuff than I should, but I almost feel like my wife made fun of me 'cause she rode with me and she was like, the way you point out stuff is so subtle that it's like if there's a pothole, it's like I'm like giving like these huge things like this is be careful of this one. But if it's sometimes I'm just like I'll do like a little circle with my finger and
that's
like
exactly what I'm saying.
yeah, and it's
like a
almost
heads up.
my wife's like you're just wasting your time because no one's even going to notice that you pointed something out, and it's just because my arm is like comfortable just dropping down and being like, hey,
I see
whatever
every
it
single
is.
one of those things that I point out, and you get to know people, and you learn all the signs. And there's sometimes like some movements that you make that are very intentional, like, hey, this is a little bit more important,
Right.
And, there's like little like hand movements for glass or like gravel or like if it's manhole cover, it's like a circle that you're going to make, or if it's like a depressed manhole cover, you're going to be like you're kind of pointing down to it, and that kind of stuff is good. But definitely you could do overkill.
Do you guys do the little handshake thing? That's always mine for like glass
gravel.
or a ton of gravel.
Yeah,
I do the
gravel.
side handshake. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, Jake, you've ridden with me a lot. You think I overdo it?
No, I think you do just fine.
You can call me out.
No, I think you're spot on, my friend.
I'm gonna have to go and ride because I'm a little bit more critical on this.
Okay.
I'll
You
just
know
yell loudly at you if you're.
You know what's funny is when I first got into road riding, I came from mountain biking. I'm like, what the hell are they pointing all this stuff out for? I'm like, just go around it, or whatever. But I'm so used to like mountain bikers don't do that stuff for each other. Like if there's like a branch that's going to hang down and like decapitate you, they might say something. But otherwise, like it's game on. You hit everything out there, and you just gotta mind your P's and Q's. So.
But you're not pace lining on a mountain bike.
Exactly.
And, I mean, I've flatted several times.
Oh, yeah.
Being in a pace line and not seeing something coming where I hit a rock or I hit a pothole that I just missed or that somebody didn't point out.
Yeah, last time I did STP, that there was a huge like pothole, and a guy in front of me did not point it out, and I got my front wheel over it, the back wheel caught it, and it pinch flatted me, and it was like almost instantaneous.
Yeah.
And the group rode away from me, and I was like, well, this sucks. I TT'd for, God, what was it, like 30 miles or something like that, and I ended up catching back on, which absolutely sucked. But,
Only Jake would be able to do that.
You guys ever like miss a call that you should make? Like, so this just happened to me the day before last. I was riding down the hill from Crown Point, and it was just like there's so many shadows on the road, and in like you have like sun shadow, and I just like Bob was drafting me or whatever, and I just like completely missed one, and I just automatically feel so much guilt where it's just like,
and go,
and he doesn't even care. He's just like, no big deal. Like, cause he misses stuff too or whatever. He gets it. But like,
I instantly have to go back to that person and say, I'm so sorry. I didn't see that. I totally missed that. That's my bad. I feel completely inclined to do that. So
when descending, it's a little bit tougher though. I mean, when you're going like 35, 40 and I mean, this stuff comes up quick. Yeah. If you have the shadow changes. So sometimes you got to take your own personal safety into it. Cause obviously if you go down trying to point something out,
true. I bet, yeah. And I just, I think for me, it was like,
bike descending.
Right, exactly. I feel like if I'm strong enough that, there's certain people like that I'll ride with Jake or whatever, and I trust him a lot because we've ridden together enough. Yeah. And I'll just be on his wheel and trust you pretty well. And then almost everyone, I like ride enough to the side to where I can see everything. Yeah. And if you're strong enough, it's even easier because then you're not so worried. You can like pull out of the draft a little bit more, not as big of a deal, and you can see a lot more of the road, and it's just so much better to see where you're going.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see here. Indicate with your hand to people behind you when the group ahead is slowing. Yeah, that's actually a good one. And be verbal about that. That's good.
I'm usually just verbal about that. I know some people use a little drop hand. I mean, if it's like if you're the guy who like you're coming to a stoplight and you're like slowing, it's like okay, man, we get it. But that's definitely verbal. Then
this next one drives me nuts when people do it, making abrupt or unannounced speed changes or direction changes. You've got to be basically you people have to know what's going on with you, so you have to be intentional with everything that you got to do, and you have to be predictable, and you have to let people know what you're doing.
And you and I have run into this before too, where it's like, oh, I thought we were going this way, and you and I both are just like assuming that we're going a certain way, and then I almost ran you, right? It's like, oh, sorry,
and that just goes to show you that we're all still guilty of it.
Yes.
So, never overlapping wheels with your handlebars or even with thigh. Yeah, just basically like not overlapping with each other so that people are running into each other. Don't ride in somebody's blind spot. If you ride in the middle of the pack and you get a flat, raise your hand and yell out flat just so that people know that you're going to be slowing down.
And these rules are more important if you're kind of in a pace line or in a group that's going kind of quick, right? Where it's like you have a flat, you don't want to do anything sudden. You just want to basically maintain the the bike and just let people know like I'm flat. And then what is it? It's right hand, is it, for a flat usually? There's left hand and right hand. If you're watching
I don't think it really truly matters.
Well,
but
if you're watching the tour, which we all are watching the tour, so it's like
I
feel like there's
hand they toss up. I want to say it's right hand.
I think it's right hand for I need a mechanical, and then it's like left hand, like you just
water. Water I think is left hand, or like I'm going back to the car. I think it's left hand.
Which any of us probably doesn't matter in a group ride, but at the same time, like throw your hand up, and people will people should know that you're going to be slowing down,
right?
So
now with the overlap wheel though, what about if you're in an echelon? I mean, I know that's that's
trust the people you're riding with.
That's how you line up. I mean, I know in a race obviously rules changes, but you just got to be skilled, know to react to the guy in front of you. It's not his responsibility to always ride perfect. So All
right, the next one. When standing out of the saddle, always pedal while simultaneously standing up to avoid a big momentum change, which basically causes your bike to go backward.
Yeah,
and somebody's right on your wheel. So I mean, you can like fall back quite a bit in that instance. So make sure that you're simultaneously.
One of my buddies will call out like he does this thing where he like hits his leg, and that means he's like, I'm about to stand up, and that's like, he knows that his for whatever reason he's gonna kind of like there'll be a little bit of a hiccup in the step. But it was like
I've always been told that when you're hitting on the leg or the thigh or your butt or something like that means that you want somebody on your wheel. That means stay right here with us.
So maybe it's a bad call, but I also it's also nice that he lets me know that he's about to stand up. And then I know, like, okay, give him an extra foot or whatever it is. But, it could be dangerous.
Yeah, if you just practice that, though, what they mentioned here,
smooth it out.
You can definitely smooth it out so that doesn't happen. So that just takes a bit of practice, not much, but it's a little bit of practice, and you can get that down pretty nice. All right, and then the last one. If you're in a fast group and don't have the energy to pull other riders, stay at the back of the rotation. So we're cruising along, say 22, 23 miles an hour, and somebody's up at the front going 17.
Yeah.
Does that bother you, or would you prefer that person
Well, that
stays
guy's
in the
getting
back?
dropped off at some point. I mean, if there's that big of a discrepancy, there's no way he's going to be able to hold on.
Okay, so let's say 22, 23
yeah,
is what we're
and
doing.
then you're trying to pull 20.
20, 21, yeah.
I think a lot of this stuff comes to like if you're in a pace line, you'll see some things where you know I'm okay with someone like cycling through and just instead of doing like a longer pull,
Yeah,
just
just
do a much shorter pull, like just even almost like roll through it. Like you can be like, but go ahead and roll through the entire like pace line and then get to the back. If they want to stay in the back, that's okay too. But sometimes it's a little bit harder because the person that's coming off that needs to jump on the pace line, you have to figure out where they're supposed to go, and it's a little bit more difficult if they don't know. Like, do I drop behind this person or do I need to slide in? So it's almost nicer if that person that's a little bit weaker just takes a really short pull at the front. But so I don't know. It's whatever these guys are recommending, I guess is fine. Staying at the back's good too. So.
Gotcha.
I think pace lines kind of work themselves out. If that, it's like, I mean, if you're sitting in a pace line long enough, guys who are not able to hold that pace will eventually drop off as long as you're on a no drop ride, you know?
Right.
Or I mean, if you're on a drop ride.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I mean, if you know you're not strong enough to hold the pace and just take a shorter pull, I think staying at the back.
Gotcha.
There's also those scoffs that sometimes people will give that if you're the guy who's not sitting there, hasn't pulled in an hour, but yeah.
Generally, I'm okay with it. It's
Yeah.
like the groups that I've done pace riding with. It's like Lance, you've done this too, the same group or whatever. Or like this, we have this beaches ride that we used to do. I don't think we've done it in a while, but it's probably as many as 10 people or so in a pack, and then it's with that you're gonna lose some people or whatever. But
And there might be a couple on the back that never pull through. That just wave you in when you're
as long as
drifting
they're
back.
waving in, that's usually fine.
And I like the idea of like, if Lance rides for that group, it'd be great if he took like 12-minute pulls, and then I roll up to the front, and it's like, okay, let's do a hard minute, right?
Yeah,
like so,
60 seconds. Here we go.
Yeah. So I just think it's nice because then it kind of like allows Lance and I to potentially get through the ride closer together than otherwise we could have. So
yeah, you just gotta adjust the pull length.
Yep. And I wish more people would do that because I see other people that I'm like, you really shouldn't take 5 minutes up there, buddy.
Yeah. Like killing them. They're like,
I know they want to.
themselves for
I know,
5 minutes.
I know they want to do it, and I'm just like, oh,
kudos for the effort though. But yeah, it's like you're gonna kill yourself. Yeah,
I guess. Yeah.
Magnificent.
No more good stuff. No more. He had his one. No more good stuff.
Okay, we're going to jump on topic number 2, but we are going to go fast. So
quick fire.
We're going to
Quick
do
fire.
the hot seat, and it's going to be very fast. I'm going to give you guys each about a minute or so for your question and for us to kind of answer said question, minute and a half or so, and then we're going to jump into one last thing. So let's run around the table real quick here. With that being said, Lance, hot seat question. What's your question for the group? And mind you, none of us have heard any of our other questions, so we're going to just jump on these really quickly.
Go.
John Degenkolb, how much do you love this guy after seeing this yesterday?
Awesome.
Love him so much.
Right.
Yeah,
God, that was awesome.
I've enjoyed him since he was with the AG2R team back there with Marcel Kittle when he came on the scene, and he's just been a stand-up kid. And to see what he went through last year, basically almost losing his career after getting hit, and then almost losing a finger, and people telling him he was done.
Did you see how emotional he got in that
Yes.
post-race interview?
Post-race,
I got
yes.
emotional watching that post-race
Yes.
interview. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was exquisite.
So for people who don't know, this is the Tour de France. John Degenkolb is a professional rider. Last year, he was on a team ride in Spain. There was a woman from England who was on vacation in Spain and forgot to ride on the drive on the right side of the road and hit the whole team. And John Degenkolb almost lost a finger. He was injured very badly.
Great cyclist.
They were
too.
saying like he's
Great
never going to ride
cyclist.
again.
He's never going to ride
Yeah,
again.
yeah, professionally,
And then in the Tour de France, in the cobble stage, he pulled off the win,
That was amazing.
which was amazing. So it was really cool to see.
it was great to see that break and to see him in there. I'm like, oh, come on,
Yes.
John, you got this, buddy.
Plus he was probably like 5 years from having like a big win or so. I
Yes.
don't know. It's been a little while, so
He's a
it's
talented sprinter, so.
good to see.
On the same note, how bad do you guys feel for Richie Port?
Oh yeah, same thing.
I feel same
We got
stage
hammered.
last year.
He got hammered by his
Same
team, too.
stage
Did you-
last year. I know.
Did he?
So
And
he
he was-
went down
That poor guy.
before the
God, that
cobble
poor guy.
stages.
Yeah.
They say he's got a broken clavicle.
Yeah.
Clavicle.
He's done.
But then they say that it wasn't broken. His shoulder was just separated, and his team director kind of called him out. There was a little bit of drama there.
I didn't hear
Well,
this.
isn't there a rumor that he might be leaving BMC?
There's no rumor.
He's gone. Yeah, he's going
I'm
for
not-
track team.
He's gone.
If you saw the shape he was in after that crash, I would not be calling him out. He looked like he's a tough guy, and he looked like he was in so much pain there. I mean, I'm never going to call somebody out for one to not ride on a separated shoulder. I don't care if it's broken clavicle or separated shoulder.
I'm gonna take over the hot seat question because my hot seat question was like, who's your tour pick now after stage 9?
Yeah.
After stage 9 was all this.
Yeah.
I was pulling for Richie Port, and I really think he's just a cool guy. So that's my question, and I'm jumping in and throwing it in right now.
Okay.
Because I know the next person's supposed to be Evan, but I'm going for it.
It's a tough call.
Who do you like?
I'll toss mine now because oh my god,
And
my
this-
friend Kit's gonna get all over me for this because I said Porty, and he's been saying this guy for a little bit. And now that I'm saying him, I feel like I'm stealing somebody else's stuff.
Yeah,
but I'm
he's-
gonna say Rigoberto, Iran.
Ron, huh?
Oh, okay.
I like Iran.
He lost a bunch of time yesterday, too.
I know, but he's dynamic, and he is going to be really good in the mountains. I think he'll be there every single day. I think this tour is going to be not about your best day. It's going to be how many not bad days do you have.
Yeah.
Because I mean, these bad days are like dropping guys off.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm picking Nibali.
Okay.
Because
Good
he has
pick.
been
Good pick.
quiet, and he has just been
He's been chugging
biding his time and chugging along, and
Yeah.
he can climb. And we haven't even had a climbing stage yet. It starts tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Oh my gosh, I don't even know who to pick. To be honest with you,
I know.
It's like
Who do you
it's just-
like?
It's
It
just
doesn't
a
have to be
big
like your-
melting pot of
Well,
people.
who do you like?
Yeah.
Who's
Who's your
'cause it
guy?
doesn't have to
I
be
like
your,
Dan Martin. I think he's
Yeah.
Oh, I
a,
love
yeah,
Dan.
yeah.
Yeah.
and it would be awesome. I don't know if
That
he's going
sucks.
to
He
have.
lost a little bit of time.
Yeah,
though, but
I don't know if he's going to have the
Sure,
wherewithal or the
sure.
team to get him through, but I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I think Froome will pull it off potentially. I would love to see like TJ Van Garden had a really bad race.
Yeah.
God, if TJ could get back into
so
it, though.
I'm all in for any American, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but like so of
Chad
course.
Haga got in the break yesterday. That was cool to see.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's back 6 minutes, which I feel like that's probably it. You can't really make that up.
No.
He's done.
So I mean, but I'm still gonna, he's my hopeful
Yeah.
pick. Yeah.
Maybe he'll have a massive breakaway. A
Yeah.
Floyd Landis.
He could though. They might let him go. They might let him go in the mountains or something. Who knows? I don't know. Not likely.
We'll have to.
No.
We have to check in on this next week.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah, we'll have a lot to talk about. Next
Evan,
week.
your hot seat question.
Okay. Which is worse? Which bothers you more to your core? A mechanical doping allegation or a blood doping allegation? Which bothers you more?
I would say mechanical feels really,
Yep, I'm with
really sketchy, and it's all the right answer is like they're both horrible, they're both bad, and they're both cheating, and it's like there shouldn't be one that's worse than the other. They really should be both just cheating. But for some reason, like because probably because we have had so many people in history just being like, oh yeah, they were doing this little drug thing or whatever, or they took this for their elbow and they tested positive or whatever. Like we all are like, okay, all right. Whereas the mechanical on the bike, like you're just cheat. Like
Yes,
that is
that
so
is-
bad.
I think like the physiological doping, you still have to go out
Doesn't
and do the
bother you
work.
more.
You have to do the
Yeah.
work. No, you still have to do the
Yeah,
work. So
I
I think
completely
that you're
agree with
putting
you.
in
Yep.
and did the mechanical part of it. I mean, that's just
It's just straight cheating.
straight
That is
up.
100%.
Like,
that's like cutting a course, in my opinion. It's
So,
100%
I'd
cheating.
probably have to agree with you on that. I'd never
Well,
even thought of that question
Yep.
before. So yeah, thanks
Yep.
for bringing that up.
Yeah.
yeah, mechanical is
Yeah.
what bothers me more.
Yeah.
And there was a
Did you see
scare
the,
yesterday?
So okay,
What?
we're
I
going to
didn't see
talk
this.
about this video because I think we're talking about the same video.
Yes, we are.
I'm actually going to defend the guy because I think it caught the moment. He's so there's a video. I'm going to not know which writer it is, but it was after a crash.
It's Tom Schoons. I don't
Okay.
know how you say his last name, but it's spelled
is he the one with the-
Schoogins.
Yeah. He's
He
the one
has
with
the,
King
he
of
has
the
the
Mountain
polka
jersey.
dot jersey on.
Yeah.
And he had gone
Oh,
down.
yeah, I
I
forgot
like him.
He is
I
wearing
like
the
him,
polka dot
actually.
jersey. Yeah.
He
He's
had
done some
gone
cagey
down
racing.
and he was lifting his bike and spinning it around to get back on the road, and his rear wheel just went. It was spinning, and it made it. It was really.
So
Was that
so
the one where you almost
here's-
hit the riders coming by too at the same
Yes.
time?
Yes.
Yeah. I was like, oh, dude, watch out.
Yeah.
So this was in yesterday's
Yesterday's
stage.
stage.
It was yesterday's
It was
stage.
it was when the
didn't
joke
pick up on that, yeah.
The joke that people were making too is it's where all the climbers crashed. All the climbers came in hot into this corner together, and they all went down. But
But his bike looked like it had a motor in it.
So here's the thing is that you can kind of see right before the shot pans over to him, he was in kind of a flex down position. So the theory is that he spun his back wheel to make sure he was still good.
And then his chain was still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's he real quick, when you check your rear wheel, you kind of just spin the crank real quick. That was what people assumed that he maybe did because he was flexed over, but that thing was spinning fast and it looked
bad.
It did look a little sketchy.
There's like video of Dan Martin, I think, and then there's the Fabian Cancellara stuff.
Yep.
Like there's like been a couple of athletes.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think,
And I like
where
all these
they've
guys
like,
too. That's why I hate this,
and they've like spun out and their wheels look like they keep going a little unnaturally. So
we need an engineer on here to
yeah.
explain
Oh,
this.
and then I thought it was really interesting. I've seen some stuff on like, hey, like when they're checking for motors, they wave this iPad in front of the bikes, and like if you look at like what they're doing,
Heat signatures is what's looking for,
heat signatures and the magnetic differences.
Exactly,
But yeah,
yeah.
so that stuff's not super technical. It's not that it wouldn't be that hard to get away with it if you were
Right.
so inclined. So
So a little bit of controversy with that.
Yeah.
Yesterday too.
I like to give him the benefit of the doubt.
I
but
do too.
yeah.
I like to
Yeah.
give on that one. I like to give everyone the benefit of the doubt
Yeah.
until they did catch that. There was a lady that they caught in cyclocross.
Yeah.
Was it this past season?
This was like 2 or 3 years
Yeah.
ago.
Or was
Yeah.
it anyway? And she was a pro cyclocross, racer, and I don't remember where she was from, Denmark or something.
How do you? That's like.
Yeah,
I can
she got busted
understand the
with a
sleeping
motor.
with blood doping, like just getting over and being like, God, okay, I think everybody's
Right.
doing this. The mechanical doping to me is like,
She said that it
how
was.
could you even celebrate
she
a
was-
win at that point? Like that's
Yeah, she was like, well, this is a friend's bike, and
Oh,
they
God.
swapped it in with my other bikes, and I didn't realize it.
Yep.
I mean, you have to come up with some excuse, I guess. It's just, and then you look back at all of her race footage and stuff, and you just question everything.
Everything.
So,
Every time she pulls away from somebody.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
that's tough. Yep.
All right, my quick one, and just curious what you guys think about this. It's kind of a little bit of a topic on a team right now, but how do you deal with sandbaggers, and have you guys ever sandbagged before?
Yes, I have sandbagged before. I will fully admit it. It's pretty lame when it happens, but yeah.
We should give what's your definition of sandbagging? Let's go because I think
I
that's,
feel like I don't
You're
know how to
riding
answer this.
Clearly above all the Freds, and you're out there racing with the Freds. So, or
Yeah.
you're a station or two above everybody else that you should be racing with, and you're only going out there just to get on the podium.
yeah.
Oh,
So-
well,
Yeah.
I feel like this is not fair because our team is, could be considered extremely guilty. I mean, you rode with the fives, didn't you, at some point when you had
true.
to?
I started in cyclocross. I did my
Cyclocross.
first season last year,
Yeah,
and
right.
before the race, it was announced over the PA when they were giving the instructions before the race. They're like, "This is Jake's first and last Cat 5 race."
Yeah.
But
And then Kim,
but you had to do. I mean, you
Yeah.
had to do
Well,
that. Right? Yeah.
technically, he
Technically,
can
you
cut
are.
himself up.
Yes.
I was
Yes.
reading the rules, but after I went back and talked to a few people, I guess you can self-declare in cyclocross. And with
Oh,
Obra,
serious? I didn't know that.
With
Yeah.
Obra, I started out with all the road racing stuff, and you have to start at Cat 5. You have to, and you have to earn points, and you have to work your way up. And I just
Yeah.
assumed that
Yeah.
that was the same for all the different disciplines.
Right.
And so I went out and I raced Cat 5, and I think the next
Won by minutes.
Well,
By minutes.
you know what? This
It
is
was
bad 'cause
not even
Lance,
close.
you're guilty too, right?
Oh,
'Cause
yes.
you went through the same
Yeah.
process.
I did the same thing.
Yeah.
And then Kim, who was on our podcast before,
Yeah.
I'm the only one. Let me get my chair.
Whoa,
Let me get on the
whoa.
high horse.
Whoa.
Let me get on the high horse.
Are you
here.
accusing me of sandbagging at some point here too?
I'm the only one that's doing things properly. I actually I self-selected as a 4 in cyclocross and came in like dead last. In the race. It was like
DFL.
absolutely horrible.
Is there such thing as a reverse sandbagging?
Yeah.
Because that's whatever Matt just did. It's water bagging. I think is what you did.
Yeah, no, I definitely made a mistake on that one. So I was like, no, I should probably ride with the 4. I was like, I should probably ride with the 4s.
Well, hey, in my defense, I catted up the next race. I went to Cat 4.
There you go.
Went by 2.5 minutes again and
Yeah,
catted to
and
Cat
catted
3.
to
So
Okay.
I
I'm just
do
saying
not
we-
consider what Jake did to be sandbagging. I would
No,
not
I'm
consider that sandbagging.
I thought I was
Yeah.
just following the rules. So
Yeah.
I don't think it's a problem either, but I'm gonna bring it up on the podcast so that the listeners are not gonna be
Matt
like,
knows.
oh yeah, well guess
Yeah.
what, those
Matt
guys
has
were,
integrity.
No, it's not that. It's just like if someone's listening to this and they're like, oh, but Jake was riding with the 5s one time, I want to make sure that like we bring it up, discuss it, and like let people know like, well, you were trying to follow the rules or whatever it was, like. You know,
I do have a now. We'll
or
bring this over.
why is Lance winning all those damn races?
I think in cycling, this is probably big. This is in triathlon too. There are the guys who will race local races forever, never go to the where they're going to be racing the better competition, and they love to post up on social media that they've won every race this year. And you're like, well, what races have you done?
I know.
And you're like, you should have won all of those. Congratulations.
This is hard too.
Stop thumping your own chest.
You can hop in a race and you can do the sprint race and stuff like that, and you can absolutely destroy those races, and they're not as competitive.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because like Pat Crest, which is just recently, has an extremely competitive basically half Ironman distance and things like that. And then there's other races that aren't as competitive. And I think it's okay if you're like, hey, this is the distance that I like to do. Like I want to do a sprint. I don't want to do a half Ironman distance.
Or if you're trying to do a
B
B race or like, training races is fine.
I have no problem with it. It's just the people that get on their high horse like, I won this race.
Yes.
I'm like,
that's what I'm talking.
Do the next one. You know,
Yes.
like, pick the right race.
Yeah.
And if you go and you win the sprint and you don't gloat about it, then I have no problem with it. So
there's the people who will claim that they're like, oh, I'm undefeated in this region. It's like, well, you didn't go to nationals this year or any Ironman sponsored event. Like, I mean, you're racing well, good job, but you haven't raced anybody.
And we should recognize too, like a lot of these races, like I won the Columbia River race because it wasn't as competitive as a lot of the other races. Yeah. Like that's just how it was. Like last summer, it was like it was just the case. I wish it was super competitive and I still won, but the truth is,
I think there's more panache to say that you raced in a higher category and did like decent than racing in a lower category and say I won. I mean,
well, and it's just that's the thing is like, are you looking for competition in and if you are, that's great. Like you can find some great competition in this area.
This is a fast
if you're
region.
looking to try to win a race, that's it's a little sketch. I mean, I kind of get it every once in a while. Like it is fun to win races. Sure. And we all get that. Like the people sitting around this table can win races. Like it's fun. It's really enjoyable. But it's also, I think once you've done that and been there, like it's more fun to find competition.
Yes.
Be competitive with people.
Yeah.
It's more fun for Lance to get second because you want,
No.
Wait,
no.
Winning is more fun.
So another thing too, and I don't know if this is just looking at it from the wrong angle or just trying to be too nice to the people that are new to the sport. But I mean, what fun is it for somebody that's coming in and racing in a Cat 5 race,
exactly,
and he gets his doors blown off because some guy who's clearly like a Cat 2, 3 or something like that, or a few stations above that person, it just absolutely demoralizes them. What's making that person want to come back or train harder to get faster when there's just this massive chasm between them and what that person's in? So, push yourself up, push yourself, and be amazed with how much you can challenge yourself and acclimate to a higher level and try and win something that's a little bit more out of your reach. I mean, I kind of went through that whole process this year. I mean, I didn't want to move up to Cat 2 from Cat 3 because there isn't a lot of masters Cat 1s and Cat 2s. There's just not a lot of guys out there.
That's another reason.
That was a hard move for you to bounce categories. You lose having a lot of teammates to work with. You lose all these things, but you were challenged and you did extremely well. Until you crashed and all this stuff like that. But like, I mean, you did great.
Had the crash not happen, I think I would have placed pretty well. I mean, potentially on the podium in my first big road race with the Pro 1-2 class. So that was kind of cool. And I think went out and did a PR race in the P1-2 out there, and I think I took 6th place out of like 50 some odd people, and that wasn't too shabby either. So I'm like, hey, wait a second,
that's very good.
I can do this. Even if I'd come in like mid pack, I'm like, well, I still beat half the other people out here. So
absolutely.
There's something to be said about that, and it's only going to force you to just kind of change your game a little bit and get out there and get a little bit smarter and train a little bit smarter. So don't sag back. And there's the reason why I say this is some of the guys who are racing in the lower levels, and I'm not going to call out names. We're dealing with an individual out there who's dominating at the 4.5s.
You're talking about me, aren't you?
Yeah. Matt's out there dominating, and they're a little frustrated with him, and the guy probably does need to move up. But I just don't want them to get frustrated by him. Look at him as a target and do what you can to either outwit him, use the team, or train a little harder and catch up to him. Because eventually you'll probably be racing with him at a Cat 3 once all of you guys all get bumped up. So.
And this is good because we kind of jokingly rag on the rookies a little bit earlier, but this is a point where I think we need to call out some of the stronger people in this sport and be like, if you want to consider yourself faster, stronger, good at this sport, go and race people who actually are faster and as strong as you are, and get your butt kicked.
There's always somebody out there who's faster than you.
And this is the thing that drives me nuts with social media is it's like, you're sharing all these wins here. Like, go out and race guys at your level and see where you place. And if you're not willing to do that, then I don't care. Like, I don't want to hear about your results then.
Good for you. Okay, we have to really boogie here because we're running long. I think this might be our longest one ever. So let's run around the table.
Did we set the record?
We're just about there. One last thing, Lance, start us off.
I got nothing but the next short track race tonight.
Yeah, good luck.
So,
Excited to hear.
Ready to roll with
Bringing
that.
home the win.
Yes.
Go, Lance.
Gonna come out and watch it. Maybe take some more pictures.
Yeah.
Maybe some video this time.
I'll wear a proper attire tonight.
Lance.
It'd be much easier to take pictures this week with everybody wearing the orange kit rather than all these crazy things. So cool. Evan, one last thing.
Tour is going to be so much fun this week. Everybody watch the tour, so when we talk about it, you kind of know what's going on.
Yeah.
And if you can't watch it, just listen to us and babble on about it, and we'll keep you updated. So
It's gonna be fun to watch.
Yes, Matt, one last thing.
I brought a camera today, and I'm gonna try to do like a quick little like behind the scenes stuff, just kind of show people like what it looks like when we sit around here and chitter chat and goof off and whatever. Because it's a lot of fun, and I'm absolutely, like I said this before, I'm dumbfounded by how many people are listening to us. And so I'll post a quick video somewhere, and you'll be able to kind of see like what it looks like when we're sitting around here chatting. And I've said this before, like the people that are listening to us, like you're part of the group. You're one of us. Like just I feel like everyone knows our inside jokes and stuff like that. Like it's all definitely like one team. So we appreciate it.
It's number 17.
17.
Kind of crazy. And we've had over 35,000 listens now, which still to me blows my mind. Through was it 7 different countries, if I'm not mistaken?
I've annoyed 35,000 different people. Cool. Wow.
That is exquisite.
Good stuff.
And,
Dang it.
It's
fun stuff. That's fun stuff.
superb. And then, you guys go check out Matt's YouTube channel. He's putting up some cool videos. Did another great one this past week about rolling resistance. I thought was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm always super critical. I feel like I
No,
go back
they're
and
good.
I look back at them. I'm like, that was
like 'em.
horrible. That was horrible. And then there's like, well, it's like that one is okay. And then I'm like, the rest of them I think are horrible. But
That's only going to challenge you to put up even better videos
We'll
if you're
get there.
being that critical of yourself. But me personally, I enjoy those. I get a little notification on my phone.
Yeah.
Matt LeGrand posted a new video, and it's bang, go watch it. Give me a little
People
thumbs up.
reference to me your wetsuit one
Yeah.
still. Like that one was very, very helpful.
Yeah.
Very helpful.
yeah, could have been better.
Go smash that like button and subscribe to that channel, as they say in YouTube land. All right, my one last thing. We have cyclocross clinics, and we're going to have our cyclocross practice coming up, and it's going to be announced here pretty soon. So I'm kind of excited
cool.
about that, despite the fact that I cannot go out there and partake, which really bums me out. We're still going to be hosting these things. We're going to be landing on them either being on a Tuesday or Wednesday, and we're going to announce all this stuff very soon. And we'll run this for probably about 5, maybe 6 weeks, and it's open to anybody and everybody who is interested in coming out and getting on their cross bike and doing some practice with us.
See
So,
that I like.
Yeah.
It's open to anybody.
Yeah.
You know what we should do is you and I should go break out the cameras and
yes, sir.
let's do it.
I'll be out there.
That'll be fun.
Got my new gimbal coming in today. So we'll go
Okay,
play with
we-
that.
we
get
will talk.
Get some fun video footage. So
Nice.
I think Matt and I might need to collaborate on a few little
Yeah,
projects.
we'll
here.
have a good time.
Could be fun. So, all right, that is it, guys. Thanks for coming back for another one. Love these roundtables and these little conversations that we
times.
get to have.
Absolutely.
Definitely good times.
Glorious.
Very good times.
Glorious.
I didn't say it once this week.
I know. I'm filling in for you. Don't worry.
Okay, we are at an hour and 35, so we need
Woo!
to
New
shut
record.
to shut this bad boy down. Hey, everybody, thank you again for listening. We really appreciate it. Check us out on Facebook at Dial Podcast, at Instagram at Dial Podcast. Shoot us some emails. Any of our first names, Lance, Evan, Jake, and Matt at Dialed Podcast or info@dialedpodcast.com. And we would love to hear from you. I'm still waiting for some more stuff to come through.
Yeah, we need a big list so we can roll through it. Yep.
Yeah, so you get out there, ask us questions, or tell us what you guys want to hear about. We're completely open. So, heck, we might even need to have a competition. As a matter of fact, I'm going to throw this up there right now. If we get more than 5 people, I'm going to do a water bottle drawing. We've got our
cool.
brand new team water bottles, and they're the really nice Pierce water bottles. So if we get more than 5 of them that come in, we will do a drawing, and you could potentially win a water bottle. We'll mail that to you. We'll drop it off to you. We'll get it to you. Listen to us. Thanks again for listening, guys. Bye for now.